Tuvasa the Sunlit versus Meren of Clan Nel Toth. Yeah, we have Journey to Nowhere that we can get down on something that comes out quickly, but no, I don't particularly like that. If we had a green source for Utopia Sprawl, I would entertain the idea, but we're going to have to risk knocking that back, I think. Well, we can copy artifact our own Sol Ring, so we'll keep that. Sol Ring is the only artifact that we have in the deck. We'll throw the temple on the bottom because we are nowhere near that yet. We want to get into coloured sources before we start thinking about any other lands. This being a 3-mana or a 3-colour deck. It's a 1/1 Bant Commander, Merfolk Shaman, Tuvasa the Sunlit, and it gets +1/+1 for each enchantment we control, and whenever we cast our first enchantment each turn we draw a card. And I think I would quite like to go in for Sol Ring, seeing as how that is all we can do. And there we go, Modo struggling a little bit there. Meren of Clan Nel Toth we play on the channel, very powerful creature reanimator commander. It's probably the best commander of its type, I think. Best reanimator commander, I think. Whenever another creature you control dies, you get an XP counter. It's a 3-mana 4. It's a 4-mana 3/4. Too many numbers. At the beginning of your end step, you choose a target creature card in your graveyard. If its CMC is less than or equal to the number of XP counters you have, you return it to the battlefield. Otherwise, you put it into your hand. Now then, I think we want to go for... Oh, does this... That switches off. Interesting. Okay. Then we will not be using copy artifact on that. Does this just stop our opponents? Alright, so if our opponent gets down a Sol Ring, then they can't make use of it either. We'll just have to keep hold of the copy artifact then. Our opponent has successfully slowed us down there. We might get into some removal for that Phyrexian Revoker. Would have been nice to go into copy artifact on the Sol Ring there, and then we could have looked at Karametra coming down or Miri's Wake. Our opponent going for Birds of Paradise. And then they have 4 cards left in hand, and they are going for something else. Nissa Vastwood Seer. And they do, of course, go for another mana there. So we can get down Tech Edge and use it on their Ancient Tomb or their Bayou next turn. Or the turn after this one, I should say. Tech Edge does need our opponent to have 4 or more lands in play. And if we can switch off their Birds of Paradise by copying their own Phyrexian Revoker, they might be struggling on mana just the same as us. See if we can get into... Well, that helps us. So in that case, why don't we go for a Scrubland with this? Get a black and white source. A black and white source. Of course, don't mean a black and white source. I mean a green and white source. So not Scrubland, Savannah. For some reason, I thought we had black in our deck. I was obviously looking at Meren and got black stuck in my mind there. I think... Yeah, we'll go for copy artifact on the Birds of Paradise, we'll name. Birds of Paradise, and then unfortunately would be nice if we could get rid of that Bayou, but looks like our opponent is going to get down Meren. But hopefully they won't be able to get down any sack outlets or anything that has them sacrificing their own creatures if they are struggling on black mana. They might just go down for Meren now while they can. Does mean that we go down a land as well, but we'll be able to at least get down our commander next turn. And this is our hand. You choose a non-land card from it and exile it. I don't particularly care about anything in our hand currently because they're all 5 mana spells, none of which we can cast. We're going to be even further away from casting them once we sacrifice our Tech Edge. Get rid of Miri's Gal, that's probably the right call. And then they're swinging at us with Nissa, but decide against it. They're not going to be anywhere close to flipping Nissa over. So I think I would have offered up the trade there, personally. Supreme Verdict we can't cast. So we'll just go in for Tech Edge on the Bayou. And then throw it back over to our opponent and just hope that they don't get into a Black Source or Crucible of Worlds, something like that, because they do have a couple of Black Sources in the graveyard now, so a Crucible of Worlds or a Raminap would really help them. We just have to try and keep them off of things that they can sacrifice. Put a -0, -1 counter on this. You can only do it once each turn, so that thing can't kill itself. We'll just let this through. And we're going in for our Tuvasa next turn by the looks of it. Yeah, I think we're still going for our commander here. That Phyrexian Revoker's really slowed us down. We can try and Prison Term next turn, just for the sake of drawing a card, and we can move it around anyway. Once it's in play, we can move it around to any creature that enters the battlefield, so it's not as if it's permanent when we enchant something. And Scavenging Ooze. We have a little bit of graveyard recursion, but we're not too worried about Scavenging Ooze. Okay, they're offering up a Nissa trade again. Suppose once they get down there, Meren of Clannel Toth, they will be able to get it straight back into their hand. It can't get them a Black Source though. This thing only gets basic forests. So they are top decking currently for a Black Source. Do we want to go for... We'll just throw it on the Scavenging Ooze. Doing this might make them think that we care about our graveyard more than we actually do. And they might put more of their resources into getting rid of Prison Term and therefore exiling our graveyard. And yeah, they go after Tech Edge. We don't have a means of playing that from the graveyard, so that's okay. We get a land drop for the turn, which is really good. Now, I wonder if it's worth contemplating a Supreme Verdict next turn. We can hold up Tuvasa as a blocker for the Nissa Vastwood Seer. Wiping the board before they get a Meren in play does sounds quite good. It knocks Tuvasa down to... Oh, and there we go. They can get Sakura Tribe Elder to fetch them a black. So I think if we're going to wipe the board, I'd rather do it now before they can get Meren down, because currently as it stands... no, we don't want to move that. Yeah, currently as it stands, they'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 experience counters if we blow up the board with Meren on the field. And it will reactivate our Sol Ring as well. So unfortunately, our Tuvasa is going to bite the dust. but we did get that card draw out of it. It got us a plains for last turn. And we'll get back our Miri's Guile as well. They have 3 cards left in hand. Most likely go for Meren next turn. And we can Sun Titan next turn, actually, unless they do something about our Sol Ring, or we could just go straight into Mirari's Wake to grab ourselves some more mana. It all depends on what our opponent does here. 4 cards in hand, and 5 mana available to them. They go for a Wood Elves, so that would have gotten them into a black source as well. They can get a dual source with Wood Elves, either an Overgrown Tomb or a Bayou. Bayou's in the bin, so might see an Overgrown Tomb here. As of the time of recording this, it's only a few days till Christmas, and well, it'll be even closer to Christmas by the time you're hearing it. I'm recording a few videos in advance. Since setting up the channel, the end of August, beginning of September, I think it was the end of August actually, all my spare time has been going into this, and the reason I bring it up is around Christmas time, end of November, beginning of December, I've usually got all the gifts that I'm buying bought and wrapped, and you know, they would be under the tree by now ordinarily, but like I say, I've been pouring so much time into this Diabolic Intent, going for a tutor by sacrificing the Wood Elves. Might be more card draw for them. Yeah, I'm usually way more organised than this, but because I've been putting all my time, or all my spare time, into the channel, I've been having to forego certain other things, so I need to hope that I get some decent recordings here, then I can get on out of here and get some presents wrapped up. With it eating into spare time as well, me and my partner haven't been watching as many Christmas films and things like that we normally would, little traditions of ours. Well, we'll concentrate on what plays we want to make first, and then we'll talk about stuff like that. That's 2, 4, 6. 2, 4, and yeah, 6 mana. So if we're going for Mirari's Wake, and then we'll be able to get down Argothian Enchantress. Yeah, unfortunately can't get down the Argothian Enchantress first, so we'll do it that way. Mirari's Wake, of course, is creatures we control get +1/+1, and whenever we tap a land for mana, add 1 mana of any type that land could produce. Yeah, so we've got some little traditions that I imagine everyone has. Certain films that we like to watch and stuff like that. That may well have been what they tutored for, was the Rex Age. At least it gets it out of their hand, but they can easily grab the Rex Age back in a Meren deck. Yeah, and I was thinking of bringing this up in a video the other day, because I was thinking of putting it to all of you, what kind of traditions that you lot have, and I'd be intrigued to see the people from different countries and cultures and things like that, if people have different traditions, the people of you that do celebrate Christmas. I just watched a film on Netflix that's just come out this year called The Christmas Chronicles, I think it's called, and I just put it on for something to watch, to be honest. Me and my partner watched it together, and she said it was quite good as well. I was expecting it to be pretty boring and rubbish, to be honest, but it was alright, it was pretty good. The only thing that we weren't too keen on was a little musical number that was a bit cringeworthy, so we skipped through that bit, but apart from that, yeah, it was pretty good. But there are certain films that we go back to every year. I forget who said it. This isn't a quote of mine, but I forget who said it exactly. Let's go through our turn, and then we can carry on wittering on about nonsense. Our opponent got Plague Crafter, Acidic Slime, and Viscera Seer. Let's see. What do we want to do? Karmic Justice might be worth grabbing if our opponent's going to be attempting to blow all our stuff up. We've got 2, 4, 6 and 7 mana. We could go for Sun Titan and grab Copy Artifact and make a copy of the Sol Ring. Then we'd have enough mana to play Karmic Guide. I think that would be a pretty good line of play. So we'll go into Copy Artifact. And that will of course enter as a copy of the only artifact on the field. We'll say yes to Sun Titan and choose to copy the Sol Ring, and then we can go for our Karmic Justice, and that will of course draw us a card off of the Argothian Enchantress. Get into Propaganda. I'm not too sure how useful that's going to be this game, but Meren does want to get lots of creatures onto the field, and I assume swing in for lethal. That's how our Meren deck works anyway. But yeah, there's loads of films that I like at Christmas time, and I forget who said this. What I was saying before is someone said that the greatest story ever written is a Charles Dickens, or is Charles Dickens's Christmas Carol. And yeah, I think I agree with that. And this individual said, whoever it was, I can't remember, said that the only way to improve on the greatest story ever told in a Christmas Carol is make it a Muppet Christmas Carol, which I thought that was amusing, and I tend to agree with that as well. So we like watching the Muppet Christmas Carol. There's one I used to watch as a kid, actually, speaking of the Christmas Carol. It's called Mickey's Christmas Carol, a little Disney short. I don't know when it was made, probably the late 80s to the early 90s, sometime around there. And it's only a little 20-minute short that I had on VHS when I was a kid, but that's one of those things that you never hear anyone bring up. I don't know how well known it is, how common it is. It's never on TV, or it's not in the UK anyway. And yeah, I don't know how well known it is. If any of you out there have kids or you're into animation or Disney or anything like that, you should give that one a watch, because it's a good one. Well, I remember it being good. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't hold up, but I liked it as a kid, so maybe some of your kids will like it. What else do we watch at Christmas time? Let's go over this first and see if we can get into anything good. Karametra and Enchantress's Presence, maybe? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. Yeah, I think we can go for that. So that will be Enchantress's Presence first. Our opponent, of course, is going to have to be careful which permanents of ours they blow up, thanks to Karmic Justice. Now then, Journey to Nowhere is tempting. Which mana do we have there? 4, 5 and 6. We could go for Propaganda instead then. Yeah, we can't cast our Commander and Journey to Nowhere, unfortunately. But yeah, getting rid of our opponent's Meren is going to be really good here. Unless they have more enchantment removal in their hand. Which I didn't actually see what they took back with Meren at the end of the turn, actually. So this might not be the right thing to do. Because they can put their Meren under the Journey to Nowhere and then blow up the Journey to Nowhere and avoid paying command attacks, but they don't. They just throw it back into the command zone. We don't have enough green for the Eidolon of Blossoms, unfortunately, so we'll just go into Propaganda. And Nevermore is potentially useful to us also. We could have swung in, actually. Yeah, we could have swung in with Sun Titan and got ourselves a green source with Verdant Catacombs. I'm only just looking at that now. So we could have got down the Eidolon of Blossoms had we wanted to. Oh, and I've just skipped past my attack step as well. Excellent. Making mistakes left, right and centre Our opponent has a Vampiric Tutor, which we, of course, will not be able to take a look at what they've tutored into there. Yeah, what other... There's like Christmas albums and stuff like that just really... There's one in particular, if I remember, and if I spot this in editing, I'll throw up the cover art for it. I think it's called It's Christmas Time, or something like that. It's a compilation album from the, I assume, mid-90s again. And it's got all these tracks on it from Nat King Cole and Queen and Elton John and Cliff Richard, all these cheesy pop songs and rocky type stuff and more classic Rat Pack type stuff. Really eclectic taste and a really eclectic, genres and all that collection of music. And that's just really nostalgic for me because I used to listen to that album all the time as a kid. And to this day, my mum and dad obviously have the original copy, but I managed to track one down online, and now I listen to that every year. And as for other films, there's... What else is there? A more modern one, Arthur Christmas. Oh, great. Recurring Nightmare is not good. That will be able to get Reclamation Sage back in the bin. We could always Nevermore Recurring Nightmare because, we use that in some of our decks, and I know how powerful that card is. I think that is well worth a Nevermore. There's just lots of nostalgia and things like that for me. I really like Christmas. And what else? Oh yeah, Arthur Christmas. That's one from Aardman. They're the ones who make... What is it called? Wallace and Gromit and Chicken Run and things like that. And it's a CG thing. It's a bit more... It's less traditional. And it has like... spaceship as the sleigh and stuff like that. Yeah, I feel dirty doing it, but I'm going to go after Overgrown Tomb here because Meren is a really powerful commander. So we need to hurt our opponent as much as we can. We'll certainly be getting back Karmic Justice with the Sun Titan as soon as we can. And, unfortunately we can't remove it in any way. Yeah, that's one. That's a more modern one. And a classic one from the 70s, I think it is one called The Snowman. And I've always... That's an English or British, I should say, tradition for people all over the country. And I wonder how well known it is outside of the UK. It's based on a book, and it's it's not silent. There's no voice acting in it or anything like that. It's just musical, and it's a cartoon and animation thing. And a stunning film. If you've ever heard the song Walking in the Air, that's where that was made famous. Okay, and our opponent's going for that Playcrafter. So I think we need to sack our Argothian Enchantress here, because we do want to keep Sun Titan around. Yeah, the Snowman's one. What else is there? Muppet Christmas Carol, the Snowman. There must be some other ones I'm misremembering. Like I say, they're not fresh in my memory because we've hardly watched any this year because my spare time has pretty much been going into this. Okay, Abundant Growth is free card draw at least. It's also another green source for us. How is Karmic Justice worded? Whenever a spell or ability an opponent control... Yeah, it has to be a spell or ability, so... Us swinging into Acidic Slime won't trigger that. How about we go Abundant Growth onto the island. And there we go, we get into another green source. And we draw a card from that entering as well. Canopy Vista enters untapped. We'll just go for that now. And then we've got 3, 4, 5, 6. Does this get additional mana? No, it doesn't. So that is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana we've got here. Might be worth getting out our Tuvasa. No. I think I want to go for Eidolon of Blossoms, actually. Because I want to try and get rid of that acidic slime. So the more cards we draw, the better. Okay, Imprisoned in the Moon will do it. I want to get rid of the acidic slime so that we can swing through and grab that Karmic Justice back. That will turn acidic slime into a land, of course. Okay, where are we now? Yeah, I think we just want to make sure not to skip through our attack step this time like we did previously. And then we want to grab our Karmic Justice. Really important card for us in this deck against Meren, because there's a lot of spot removal, a lot of artifact and enchantment hate that they've got going on currently. There we go, so we've got our Karmic Justice back. And then I think we just go in for Soul Snare. And we can look at playing our commander next turn. Don't think we care about Dryad Arbor. Yeah, we've got plenty of lands to play now, so we can discard some of these. We'll go for how many more? 2 more after this. So we'll just get rid of our basics here. And then we've got 2 lands to play, that's good. Don't think our opponent's going to be hasting out a creature for us to make use of Soul Snare with. This is white and sacrifice. Exile a target creature that's attacking you or a planeswalker you control. Yeah, films. I was trying to think of live action ones. Oh, I'll tell you one. One that surely everyone's seen, and it's a crime that I didn't see it as soon as I did. It's a Wonderful Life. That is one of those films that everyone tells you, oh, you must see It's a Wonderful Life. It's a phenomenal film, and it is. Absolutely stunning film. Oh, and there we go. Our opponent scoops it up. We managed to hate out Meren for as long as we did. And what will we have gone for next turn? Maybe Prison Termed our opponent's creature if they'd gotten one out. They could have gone for Meren again there, I think, and then perhaps grabbed back a Reclamation Sage or something like that. But then we would have been able to blow up a black source of theirs, and then they would have been in some real dire straits. So yeah, managed to get around Meren there. Like I say, the blowing up of lands and everything, it's not really something I like to go for personally, but against Meren, you can't give her any leeway whatsoever, because she'll stomp all over you. I mean, look at all these value creatures that she's already got, as well as going for a Buried Alive to get a nice little package into the graveyard. Yeah, got some really good cards in here. That would be a big issue for us if we allowed her to play out those cards. So yeah, I'll just finish my thought very quickly. I didn't watch It's a Wonderful Life until very recently. Considering how long the film's been out, I'm 31 now, and I think I only watched it for the first time a year or 2 ago. Yeah, I think about a year or 2 ago, and it's absolutely phenomenal film, so you must watch that if you haven't. It's black and white, but I'm sure you can get over that. You're a cultured bunch, I'm sure. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed that. That is Tuvasa, the Sunlit, our Bant Enchantress build, and I will see all of you in the next one. Hope you're enjoying the Commander 2018 content. I'll be mixing it up a bit from now on and throwing in some old commanders with some of the new ones. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy that. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.